All right, welcome to Behind the Scenes. I have Jason from J.A.B PC. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. So why don't you tell our audience a little bit about what you do, a little bit of your origin story.
So we started back in about 2000 to 2003 in a surveillance camera. I used to work for a cable company at the time, and that's basically where we got the idea to just start working on the camera stuff. I did it full time for 4 or 5 years with a gentleman, and then we split ways. And then I just went on my own part time for, I don't know, last 10, 15 years. And then the last 5 years, I couldn't keep up with the part time anymore, so I went full time. I really enjoy their surveillance camera business.
Yeah, tell me about that. Tell me about what's got your interest in it.
Basically, I love helping people protect their homes, their businesses. I can't tell you how many testimonies I've gotten that people will tell me, oh, your camera stopped this guy from doing this, or your camera's caught this person doing this, or we prosecuted this person because of your cameras. I've been to court a few times for a couple of companies to, yes, that's my camera system. Yes, this is what it does. Yes, this is who it is. So I've had to do that a couple of times. So it really makes me feel good that I can serve the community in a way that everybody can benefit from what I do. We have this, so I'm working on my church right now. My church just upgraded from a little 100-seat building to a 300-seat building, and we're getting ready to do the cameras there, and it's like a 56 camera system. That's where you guys recorded me at. And one of the funny things that I used to tell everybody is I see everything, but what I don't see is the only thing God sees. So if I don't see it, God sees it. So one way or another, you're going to get caught. So it's a funny joke that we do at the church. But I love what I do. I would say I'm 60% commercial, 40% residential. I pride myself on trying to keep up with my service as much as I can. I'm really a small operation, so between installs and service and everything like that, I pretty much do everything myself. I'm sure eventually I'm going to have to expand and hire and things like that. But right now, the last 5 years have been great for just the small crew that I have. And we've managed to increase and grow at least 20 to 30% every year.
So I think just having cameras sometimes, even if you're not getting footage of something happening, sometimes it's a preventative that keeps people away from, publishing that we've got surveillance here. Sometimes is enough.
Yeah, a lot of people will ask me, can I put in a hidden camera? And I'm like, well, a hidden camera really doesn't do you any good. You want people to see that camera. You want people to know that it's there. If you have a monitor up, you want people to see that monitor to know that they're being monitored. That's why when you walk into Walmart or any of these big stores, that's why they have those monitors right in front of your face to know you're being recorded, you're on camera, so we want you to know. And I think that's a really great thing that people should do. And
camera tech, it's gotten so much better, and it's probably going to get even better from this point. What do you see coming up on the horizon?
The only thing that needs to improve is the wireless. The wireless part of it, especially for like commercial, like really good commercial use, it's not there. It's going to take probably a long time for that to become the norm for cameras. There's a lot that goes into just being wireless, and then anything that's wireless, obviously, if it's not powered by electric, it's battery, then you have to recharge the batteries. So there's a lot of things that I don't really like to deal with as far as the wireless side goes, but the wired side, I mean, they're already up to 12, 14 megapixel cameras. We have PTZs out there now that have a stationary camera plus the PTZ on the bottom, which is the pan, zoom, and tilt. So it'll see one vast area, one stationary all the time, and then you can use the second camera to go up close and view whatever you need to see. So the stuff out there is awesome. Our cloud, so Alibi is the camera system that I use. That's the company that I get all my stuff from. And we have a cloud service that will not only like count people and do a lot of really great things. One of the things that we, in the last couple of years that we've been able to do with our cloud service is, so the silhouette of a gun. So if you carry a gun in any way, shape, or form on you, the camera can identify what the gun looks like, the silhouette of a gun on your body or your hand or anything like that, and can automatically report it to the cops and the person in charge of wherever they're at for the cloud service. So it's even better than a metal detector because they'll see you before you even get to the building. And that's something that we're starting to implement in schools, churches, and community buildings that have a lot of people in them. So that's a really great feature that we also have a feature in our cloud service where if you're walking in and you have that gray shirt on and 3 other people walk in with a gray shirt on, I can go back and put in like January 5th gray shirts, and then it'll pull up everybody that walked in with a gray shirt, and then I'll get a picture of your face and who you were and all that kind of stuff. So the identification part of it's becoming really great with the AI that's out there now. The identification of who you are, what you're wearing, where you're going in the building, all that stuff has greatly been advanced.
So what Europe's doing and having so many like public cameras that are interfaced and linked together, plus private cameras that also participate in their public networks that way, where they can take somebody who traveled from robbery an ATM to a bank down the road to someplace else, and they can connect all that stuff together.
Yeah.
You think they have the right idea?
Oh, yeah, that's big time. I wish we would implement more like that around here. Like, I know some of the bigger cities do it. I know New York has cameras up everywhere, but they're more traffic cameras than anything. But I know, like New York, and I know Chicago, some downtown Chicago. I go out to Chicago a lot. I have some clients out there. So you can see cameras all over downtown in Chicago, things like that. I think around here, even though we're a smaller city, I think it's something that we really need to start implementing and getting into, not just in the areas where schools are to get license plates, but we need to do more of a diligent job of at least on street corners and things so we could start paying attention to what's going on downtown. I know that we're developing downtown. I know we're growing more. I know it's becoming a really nice place to come down and visit. So I think we need to do a better job of protecting our citizens down here.
This episode was brought to you by Youngstown Computer, the Valley's technology company. We appreciate the loyalty and all you have shown us over the years, and it's our promise to serve all the technology needs of the Valley. Call 330-259-7278. We have both home and business services available. Everything from repair, installations, and new equipment. You can improve your Wi-Fi and have technology serve you better. Call 330-259-7278. Or you can schedule your appointment right now on youngstowncomputer.com and look for the red Book Now button.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like, you ever watch those infrared cameras where they got a helicopter, some guy's running through the woods and he has no idea that people could see him through the dense, trees or whatever. Oh, yeah. So cameras are, even the infrared stuff, the light vision, zero lux, that kind of stuff has come such a long way.
Oh yeah. We have, they call it a starlight chip. Basically what the chip does is it takes just the littlest pinch of light and we'll use that to enhance the picture at night. So they have a lot of advances like that. One of the things that we've turned into a lot of the cameras is now they have LEDs on them. Now, I know you see the commercials where you can screw that camera into the light bulb. It has the LEDs and it's supposed to spin around and all that kind of stuff. That's basically the idea that I'm getting at. So we have a lot of new cameras out there that have LEDs on them that can see 65 to 120 feet away and give you true color at night. It's no longer black and white.
Wow.
It's color. We had a gentleman come, and at my old church, we had a guy, he come walking across the parking lot, picked up a rock and started beating up one of the stained glass, or one of the square glass windows in the side of the building. Well, my cameras picked up, he had brown boots on, he had blue jeans on, he had a green camouflage jacket and a black book bag on the back and a gray hoodie over the top. So it didn't take the cops more than probably 24 hours to find the guy.
Man, so good.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into our video here. Feel free to narrate, or if anything's notable, you can describe it.
Yeah. Don't pay attention to the dirty. The van's dirty.
It's winter. That's what happens here in Ohio.
So that's me up on a lift working on some cameras on a pole. We had to string some line down to one pole, and I was getting ready to put on our external extender for PoE for IP cameras. The two main cameras that are out there right now are IP, which is Internet Protocol cameras, and then CCTV, which is our TVI side of it. So they use more like a cable base compared to a Cat 5 base. So those are the two type of cameras that I put in. Right now I'm working on an IP system. This is at the church that I was telling you about. So if you look and see the little white box hanging there, that's my little wireless extender that we'll plug the two cameras into. I also, on top of the cameras, I also do mesh networks. So I've done a few of those in a couple of different places. I have a resort that I did it in. I have a couple hotels that I've done it in. Just basically giving you the ability to go to any floor or any building and still be on the same network the whole time.
Nice.
So that's the new church in the background there.
Nice.
Now you're going to see me crawl into the attic.
That's an attic?
Yes,
that
is
an
an
scary
attic.
Place right there.
Yeah. We do a lot of attic work, and I've learned a lot about crawling in and out of attics. And this one here is a suspended ceiling that's concrete with steel mesh, so it's a little bit more difficult to walk through. Right now we're just pulling a wire that we had pulled from one building to the other, getting it ready to go over to a different spot in the wall. But yeah, attic work is probably the worst part of my job. Attics and crawl spaces. Because you never know what you're going to get into or see or inhale or, it's nasty.
See, we do ghost hunting, so the attics are our favorite spot to set up cameras and take a look. We want to find some of those things.
What kind of cameras do you guys use for the?
We have some night vision cameras and some infrared cameras that we'll set up.
The infrared picks up the spirits a lot better than just a regular. Yeah.
Although I'd love to have someone take a better, higher resolution picture of like UFOs and Bigfoot, why they're always grainy and blurry.
Probably because they're not real.
Oh, come on. Don't ruin it. Don't be the spoiler.
Well, I don't know about Bigfoot. I mean, aliens maybe. I mean, such a vast universe. There's got to be other life out there, but Bigfoot, I don't think Bigfoot's real.
Not a thing.
No. I think Bigfoot might just be some big hairy man out in the woods that don't want to be seen.
In a costume,
Yeah, don't want to be seen.
I've driven through a lot of states that are very uninhabited. So for something to be up in the woods in the middle of like Wyoming, I wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't surprise me.
Right. No, I grew up in PA, out in the sticks of PA, and like up in Clarion and in the mountains and stuff like that. So I can tell you I've seen a few things in my life. I've experienced a few spirits in my life too.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Firsthand.
Those trail cams that they set up where you could just see the wildlife that goes on in an area. I'm always surprised by how much activity there is in a small space. You'll see black bear go by and coyotes go by. Those are some of my favorites.
They've actually got their cellular now too, so you can see them instantaneously on your phone.
Isn't that crazy?
That's awesome. That's awesome. The cellular part of it, the 5G part of it, I think has come a long way, and I'm glad that they have, because that's something that we'll probably get more into as the future comes along, as far as being able to connect to different devices in different places. And that's how most of the cities connect right now. They use their 5G service or their 2.4 internet service. And they house little boxes all over the place, and that's how they connect. Like if you watch like 27 News, when they do those cameras that you can see like over East Liverpool or over Youngstown or whatever, those are all cellular based. So they just log in through the cell tower or their little cellular device, and then they can shoot that picture to wherever they need to go.
Now, are most of the surveillance and security systems sort of like recording it, but really not paying attention to what's being recorded? So if you have a parking lot and you get a car pass through, it's there, but unless something happens, you wouldn't really know it?
And that would depend on the system and what you want to do. So what I normally for a business, I will put them on like motion during the day, because during the day you see a lot more, it notices a lot more. And then at nighttime, I usually do a continuous record so it doesn't miss anything. The continuous record on my systems, on my DVR, so you can see the two different kind of, that's a 4 megapixel on the right, and then the left one was an 8 megapixel, and then my DVR was underneath. But so one of the things that I like to do is, like I was saying about the time frame, so I'll go from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and I'll do motion. Even in the summertime, I'll do that strictly on motion, and then we'll set the motion usually about 60 to 70%. That way it doesn't miss anything. And it helps on hard drive space, so it doesn't eat up the hard drive the whole time. But then at nighttime, even with the new white light cameras we have out there, I'll usually put it on continuous, because at nighttime, your cameras, even if they only see 35 or 65 or 120 feet, if anything happens to be on that, you won't see it if it's motion. So what I'll do is I'll put it on continuous, so even if something happens out in that background, you'll still see it, even if it's not picked up on the motion part of it.
Right. And what you suggested earlier is that if it identifies objects that it records, if a white van parked in the parking lot 5 consecutive days, it might be able to, the algorithms or the AI might be able to assemble that something's not right about that and let you know about it.
Oh yeah, big time. Now here, we're going over the app, and I was showing the gentleman how easy the app is to use, and that's a 4 megapixel high definition IP camera. You can see how nice and clear it is. I was zooming in to show him how it works, and then we're doing a playback. So I was showing him how easy the playback is to do. I have a very great, easy, user-friendly CMS. And you can see the blue and the red. Yeah. So the blue is the continuous recording. The red is the motion recording. Okay. So at nighttime, it'll do both. Or if you have it on continuous, it'll do both. And then if you only have it on motion only, then you'll just see the red lines, not the blue.
This episode was brought to you by Youngstown Computer, the Valley's technology company. We appreciate the loyalty and all you have shown us over the years, and it's our promise to serve all the technology needs of the Valley. Call 330-259-7278. We have both home and business services available. Everything from repair, installations, and new equipment. You can improve your Wi-Fi and have technology serve you better. Call 330-259-7278, or you can schedule your appointment right now on youngstowncomputer.com and look for the red Book Now button.
So how long do you recommend that you hold on to video coverage that you've recorded or DVR storage?
Depends on if it's residential, probably 2 weeks to a month, because if something happens at your house, you're going to know right away. If it's a business, I would say 30 to 90 days, only because if something happens at a business, you might not catch it right away, so you won't be able to go back and get it. And all of that depends on terabyte space. So I usually recommend anywhere from 500 to a terabyte per camera, depending on the quality of the camera. If you're only doing like a 1080p or a 4 megapixel, you can get away with like a half a terabyte, like 500 gigabytes per camera, and it'll still record a good 3 to 4 weeks. If you got like an 8 megapixel or higher, you want to go at least a terabyte per camera. That way you'll get your month anywhere from 30 to 45 to 60 days out of it, depending on motion. So the quality of the camera and what you're recording really depends on the terabyte space that I'll put in your drive.
Now, is it more cost effective to have like a hard drive and a DVR, or the cloud storage that you connect up?
Well, in my situation, when you buy the system, you own it. So you buy the DVR, you buy the cameras, I install it, you own it. So you want that hard drive space, you want that in your house, you want to be able to have access to it whenever you want to. As much as I love cloud space, the downside to cloud space is if you lose your internet connection, you don't record. So you always want to have a backup. So my systems are really nice because you have your hard drive in your DVR and it's recording continuous. You can pick one, all of them, or whatever to put on the cloud. So even if it doesn't go to the cloud, it's still recorded to the hard drive, but you don't have to do every camera to the cloud. So you can pick like just your front door or your back door. Or if you're a business, you only want your garage, you can specify what camera you want to go out on the cloud. And my cloud service is anywhere from $15 to $25 a camera, depending on how long you want it to record. Because we could do 3 months, 6 months, so we can back up to 6 months, and what kind of analytics you want to use. So the analytics also depends too. We have just basic analytics that does like line crossing or intrusion area, things like that. Or if you want the more advanced of the people counting and the gun silhouette and things like that. So depending on what you want to do with that. And most of the time, it's usually commercial services that use that kind of stuff. Most residential, it's easier just to throw in a DVR and let them control it themselves. So earlier you saw the little box that I was pointing out where we were pulling wires from. So at the church, we have a rectory building. We have the main church, and then we have the kids center. Well, our rectory building is where it houses all of our internal network stuff. So we had to pull all new lines from there over to the church underground. Wow. And I tell everybody I'm a jack of all trades, and I only mastered one thing in my life, and that is wall fishing. If I can't fish that wall, I don't think it can be fished, because I've been doing it so long, and I know construction. So knowing construction and how things are built and being able to figure out how to get things down the wall, it's something that I've learned how to master, and I'm very proficient at it. If anybody wants to know how to put an end on a piece of Cat 5, there you go. The sequence is orange, white, orange, green, white, blue, blue, white, green, brown, white, brown. And that's for the B sequence, if anybody knows what that means.
And it will imprint in your brain forever, so you will always be able to say that sequence.
I've been doing it so long that I don't even think about it anymore.
Our field techs would keep track of their failure rates. They would want to know how many they put on and how many they had to redo. And that was like the most painful thing, is when you had to admit that you did 10 and one failed. You had a 10% failure rate.
Yeah. I'm at about a 90% success rate.
All right.
Whether it's B and C or Cat 5, I'm at about a 90% efficiency rate. Yeah, you want to see the coolest drawer in the world?
Look at that.
That's the organization. But, yeah. We do a lot of, like, businesses with a lot of drop ceiling and things like that. So the fish rods you see in my hand, to me, it's always been the quickest way to get across the ceiling. I can do 3 or 4 wires across one ceiling in a couple minutes instead of, jumping from one tile to the next.
4 foot at a time?
Yeah. With these, I can go 8 to 12 feet at a time. I know there's a lot of other ways. People use little radio-controlled devices that will run over the ceiling. Some of them have, I've even seen like little dart guns that people will fire string across the ceiling. So I've seen all kinds of different stuff. But to me, the fish rod's the easiest.
So when people decide to get a security system, is it usually following some kind of trauma, like they just got robbed or a friend of them got broken into?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
And that's the downside. I tell everybody, you want to be preventative, not after the fact.
Yeah.
And some people don't understand that you don't want something to happen to need cameras, because then you didn't see it to begin with. You want to catch it before it happens.
Yeah.
So I tell everybody, be preventative, not after the fact. Not that I don't like alarm systems. I don't do them. I used to do them. They're not my forte, only because your alarm system is only as good as the police department that services it. And if your police department takes 5 minutes to a half hour to get to you, then the crime's already done and they're gone before they even get there. But if you have a camera system, then you have it on recording, you have it on a hard drive, you know what they took, you know how they got in, where they went. One of the biggest things that I know that people will ask me is, which way did they go? Which direction did they go? So I always try to, like, you'll see my cameras here, we'll see how it's pointed up just enough to see the corner of that road. Mm-hmm. So I could see if a car turned right or left. So if somebody did something stupid, then they pulled out of there. And you can see on that one there where you could, the different roads. So one of the biggest questions we get is, which way did they leave? Which way did they go? Which way did they turn?
Yeah, on the alarm system thing, dumbest thing. I had an alarm system for, I want to say, like 15 years. And I would say I got it installed, and then maybe I never had a problem, never got robbed, it never got triggered, whatever. And on year like 6, it got set off one time, and I thought, I'm going to let it run to see who calls and how long. This is a trial run here. And here, like, they never put the cellular chip in the in the communications box, so I was never connected to anything.
Oh no! And you were paying for it
for 6 years, and
wow!
No one would have showed up.
So how much do you think that cost you over 6 years?
Oh my goodness! I can't imagine.
Yeah, and I tell everybody that the initial cost up front might be a little sticker shock, but you own it. And my systems will last you anywhere from 5 to 10 years, easy. The only thing you really need to replace is hard drives, and maybe a camera here and there, and that's the cheap part of it. But if you pay for an alarm service over, like you said, 6 years at like $35 a month, that's an enormous amount of money. Even though it's spread out over 6 years, you could have paid for 3 camera systems in that amount of time.
I tell myself someone came and took the cellular chip and it was there the whole time.
Yeah,
just that last month was no good. Just to make myself feel
okay.
All right. So for anybody watching, if they want to get a hold of you or tell me about your social media presence or learn more about you.
So I have a Facebook page. It's JABPC Inc. I have a website that's jabpcinc.com. My phone number is 330-233-2511. That'll get you straight to me. Those are the only Angie's List. I'm on Angie's List too. If you want to see any reviews, I have 5 or 6 reviews on Angie's List, and you can see what kind of work I do there. I'm on Google. You can find me on Google. I think I'm like 3rd or 4th, one down or whatever, but you have to really search Youngstown area Google. I haven't really worked on that presence yet, but I know the more that you search me, the more higher I go up. So why pay for it?
Yeah, right.
Anything I can save money on. We do the Trumbull County Fair every year. I love going out to the fair. I love supporting that, and I probably get 2 or 3 jobs out of it every year, so it's worth it. But it's just fun to be in the building, and I actually get to secure the building while I'm there, so everybody gets to see what I do, and all the vendors like to have me in there because all their stuff's being washed. So I do a lot of good things. There's an event up in Solon that I do. It's for the community recognizes the police and fire department and all that, so they put on an event for them. So I go up there and I'll set up a little booth and people come through. So I do everything I can to get myself out there without actually cost me an arm and leg to get myself out there. 90% of my work is word of mouth, though. I've been doing this so long, and I pride myself on doing a good job, and I treat everybody's business or house like it's my own. I don't do sloppy work for the most part that I know of. I've never had anybody really complain about it. And like I said, I keep up on my service as much as I possibly can. If you call me, I'll call you back within 24 to 48 hours, and then I'll be out as soon as I possibly can. If it's an emergency, then I'll put precedence on it. But I try to do my best to keep up on everything I can at a proficient amount of time, just to keep my reputation is everything to me. So I keep my reputation as good as I possibly can.
All right, Jason, thanks for talking with us. I appreciate it.
Thank you.